Do you look like this when studying? Can you not remember a single word off your Spanish vocab charts? Is this the only letter grade you get when you do your work? Look no further. I'm going to change your life with 5 tips. With these 5 tips, I'm going to make sure that your F's turn into an A, even A+. Hi, it's Okra. If you're new here, welcome. I just want to say that this is a no BS guide. Only 2 of these tips are study tips because I hate studying and I don't think you like studying for hours either. So the rest of these tips are things you could actually do to get straight A's in school. For credibility's sake, and that way you know I'm not a liar, I've taken college level courses and scored straight A's throughout my high school career. I never score B's because I'm terrified of anything less, but maybe it's just my Asian mom talking to me behind my ear. Anyways, enjoy the vid. Now, I'm going to read you my 5 tips off this little note here because I can't remember anything off the top of my head. Tip number 1, don't study everything. Study only what you have to. For example, you're doing pretty good in geometry, let's say, and you think you're doing pretty good in remembering the angles, what kind of angles there are, etc., etc. But you don't know how to do a certain formula or a certain equation to find that angle, right? That's fine. Just make sure you study that part. You don't have to study what kind of angles there are again because you already know it. Be confident in yourself and make sure you know it because you know in your heart that you already know that information. Only study what you have to. Don't waste your time because time is money. Tip number 2, study according to your subject. Now, what do you mean? Study according to your subject? Well, for subjects, you kind of have to study a little differently. For example, you can't study the same way for English as you would math. Those are 2 completely different things. If you wanted to study according to your subject, let's just say I have math. I want to make sure I study the way a formula is made, the formula steps, what kind of formulas there are. Oh, what are we learning in geometry, algebra 2, algebra 1? Math is just chronological order. Spanish, personally, I wouldn't use flashcards. Flashcards, if you're trying to remember a big vocab sheet, that teacher is not gonna care how many flashcards you have. You will probably forget a word or 2. So the best thing to do, half of it, try and remember the meanings of those words, and if you don't remember it, show it off, and then check off and see what you got right and wrong, and see what words you have to remember. Tip number 3, plan your tests. Now, the reason I say plan this is because some tests will end up being on the same day as others, or one test wants you to remember one thing and the other test wants you to remember another thing. Make sure you time block and make sure you study beforehand instead of just cramming before the test, the night before the test. I've been guilty of it. I know we've all done it. Don't do it. It's bad. It's bad for you. It's bad for me. It's bad for our brain. It's bad for our sleep. I don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. So don't do it. Make sure you block out time in your day to study for that upcoming test. You know when that test is, so make sure you have a planner or a calendar and make sure to block out the time or dates of when those tests are. Tip number 4, utilize your resources such as tutors and friends. Listen, tutors, there is no shame in using a tutor, okay? I was very shameful of using a tutor. I am an Asian child. I felt as if I should not use a tutor. Tutoring made me feel stupid because I felt as if I should already know the information already. Well, that's a lie. It's okay to use a tutor, and I've learned this personally. It actually helps you a lot. I went to tutoring for chemistry because chemistry was my hardest subject at the time, okay? I used a tutor. It was my teacher. She held tutoring sessions. It was great. I understood exactly what was going on after I used some clarification, and I got an A on that test. It was great. So there's no shame in using a tutor, in going to an after-school program for tutoring, or going to a private tutor that will just tell you how to do the problem in whatever subject you have. There's no problem in using a tutor, so use one. Also, if you don't have the money for a tutor to do a private tutoring and your school doesn't have a tutoring program, utilize your friends. Ask, hey, what did you do for this problem? Or how did you do this problem? Because the more people you ask, you get to see what kind of grades they're getting, and you get to ask, hey, how did you get that? I didn't get that. That way, when you get on the test, you don't get the answer 3, and you look over and your friend gets the answer 4. So make sure you utilize the people around you. Let them help you, basically. Last and final tip 5. I'm gonna be serious, bro. Ask for help. And in a way that you ask for your teachers. Ask for their help, ask questions, because they're putting their time in and their effort into their lesson plans and their daily lessons. They want to make sure that their students pass. So make sure you ask the teacher questions. Even if you feel it makes you look silly or dumb, it doesn't matter, because at least I know it. And even if people think that, oh, what a dumb question, what a silly dumb question, you should already know that. Okay, now I know it, okay? You can be quiet and turn around, because I know it now. Maybe you didn't know it and you're just clowning on me for the fact that you didn't know it either. Just leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? Also, if you fail a test, there's no problem in doing it, okay? Utilize your teacher, because they're there for a reason. So always ask for extra credit. Extra credit can do wonders for your grades, okay? I once had 111 in geometry. I didn't have to worry about failing a test in geometry because I had 111 from extra credit. So make sure you utilize your extra credit. Also, remediation. Now, remediation at my school is a little bit different. I don't know if it's the same for everyone else. You can remediate a summative grade up to 85%. And that's usually good. You can usually score an A if you get 190 on a summative, 185 on another summative, and maybe another 90 for your summative, 100 on your summative. That'll usually get you an A, because most classes have 3 to 4 summatives and then a ton of formatives. So even if you fail one summative, utilize that remediation so that way your grade doesn't tank, because your grade can change a lot from a 60 as your summative versus an 85 as your summative. Believe me, I know. It's really bad when it's a 60 instead of an 85. So make sure you ask the teacher for help and you utilize their time and their resources, okay? Because that's what they're there for. They love you sometimes. If you make good connections with them, they're willing to help you. Just be nice to them, be respectful to them. They're respecting your time, so you respect their time. That is all I have for you today, guys. Keep up your A game. And this is Okra signing out. Thank you for watching and subscribe. Thank you, bye.